everyone, welcome to another SimonSaysStamp.com quick tip video. Today I'm going to be answering a question that a few of you have asked us over at Simon Says Stamp, and that is, what is the difference between an embossing buddy, or as Inkadinkado calls it, embossing magic? What is the difference between an embossing magic and the EK Success powder tool? Now both of these tools are used for embossing. And the whole concept behind it is that when you apply your embossing powder to your cardstock, sometimes there's some static cling involved, and then the embossing powder sticks to areas where you don't want it to. So adding a little bit of powder cuts down on that static cling, and then you only get embossing powder in the areas where you want it, aka where you've stamped. So I'm going to show you an advantage and a disadvantage of both. The first thing that I love about the embossing buddy or the embossing magic is that it puts out a little bit more powder than the other. And it covers a wider surface area like that. On a light piece of cardstock, you can't see the powder at all. The disadvantages to that is that when you use a dark piece of cardstock like this black, I'm just going to put some down like this, you can see where the powder is. And even when you wipe it off or whatever, there's a slight ghosting left behind. So it's not as good for dark pieces of cardstock. So the EK Success powder tool is this little tool that has a cap on it. Has a little brush on the end, so it's slightly more precision application. Does the same thing with light colored cardstock. I usually just go in swirls or back and forth. You don't need a whole lot. It puts out a very small amount of powder. Over on some black cardstock, I'll do the same thing. In fact, let me grab some new cardstock so we can get a full representation. I'll just add some right here. You can also see the powder going on. And it also leaves a slight ghosting image. For me, I prefer the EK Success powder tool because it is precision. And I can go over it very, very lightly. And hardly any powder comes out. Whereas the embossing magic, it's hard to go over too lightly because the surface area where the powder comes out is larger, so more powder is going to come out in general. So it really just depends on what you prefer. There are also some other kind of tips and tricks for cutting down on the static cling on your cardstock. Some people use fabric dryer sheets, anything like that, just to cut down on that static cling. I prefer having the EK Success powder tool just because it's dedicated specifically for crafting and it's going to last me forever. I've had this for, I don't know, a year, and there's so much powder in there, I can't see myself running out. As far as the process after you use each of these, it's exactly the same. After you've applied your powder, you're free to do your inking on your cardstock and then straight into your embossing powder. And sometimes when you shake off the excess embossing powder, some of the powder will come off too. So it's a win-win situation. So those are the differences between these two tools. I hope that answered your questions. And if you have any more, leave them in the comments here at YouTube or at Facebook, and we'll try to get back to you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.